Hi, everyone. This is Will, the beer champion, and today we're here to talk about pickles and patriotism. It's the 4th of July. I'm up here in Seattle, and we're going to talk about some stuff. So, the first of two Adolphs that we're going to talk about is this one. Yeah, you weren't expecting this one, were you? This is Adolph Coors, founded what's now Molson Coors Miller Coors Brewery in 1873. The Coors Light, classic American lager. What's interesting about this beer is the light American lager is one of the hardest beers to make because it is so just close to water that any imperfections in this beer, you smell the history. It took me so long to figure out what would be the best kind of beer for that represents patriotism. I chose this one because it reminded me of two different patriots. Adolph Coors, born in Prussia, he was a fireman. He worked in stationery. He was a gardener. He was a brewer. He was a bricklayer. And what American can't relate to just having so many jobs and building a legacy for himself over the course of his life. Oh, that is refreshing and delicious. Made partially with, I believe, corn and rice to make the body lighter, and also because it was a more affordable substance when he started it in Golden, Colorado, back in the 1870s. He was ashamed of the fact that he stowed away to get into the U.S., but to move out of a churning European political tide so that he could build something for himself and his family. Troubled as they ended up becoming, reminds us that patriotism is not just about what you do, but what you could do for the country that you're in. The other Adolf I was referring to, the more famous one. He believed himself to be a patriot because ultimately what he was trying to do was to help his country. But he did it through suppression and mass murder and genocide and racism. And Adolph Coors did it through building jobs. Now 17,000 people employed by that, which if any politician boasted those numbers, it'd be carried out on a parade every single day. Which of course brings us to our food pairing, these pickles. The pickle originally comes from us from like 2030 BC. The name comes from the German or Dutch word poko, which just means brine. Simple cucumber. I'm getting poko. I don't care though. Oh. I hated pickles growing up as a kid. But when I hit the age of like 20, I just started loving them. No idea why. It's also just a great summer beer pairing. Imagine there's so many people out there just having a Coors Light and pickles in various forms. We're on a picnic right now on the 4th of July. I mean, isn't that just the ideal thing? And I've got a voicemail. And it's so interesting growing up. I grew up in a town of Independence, Oregon. And here we are on Independence Day, 1776. Growing up in the town with the largest firework display in Oregon, I am just fine never seeing another one. It was a massive. We had a carnival and the classic small town parade that clogged up our town with traffic one day a year. Backed up 11 miles outside the city. It was crazy. Every single year you'd have to walk everywhere, which is fine because the town was only about 2 miles from end to end. But Coors Light, Adolph Coors, and the other one, yeah, interesting. They both met their end the same way with suicide. And both ended up such different lives. They came from similar regions. One of them built a beer that still exists to this day and still ends up in a legacy. Mm. One with a legacy that was, and it's still in tragic terror, and it's based on hatred and fear and loathing, and brings us back to patriotism. What will you do for the love of your country? I applied to the military 3 different times for the over a 10-year period and never got accepted. And now I'm making a YouTube show about beer and food and patriotism. But it's the 4th of July, so generally treat your neighbors well. Pass them a drink if you have one, and stay safe.